Why is there a random flip-up table that looks like it has a potion, bottles of wine, painkillers, and a bottle of bleach? What's going on here? Hello everyone, my name is TheMadScorpyon, getting into the reset. So on the top of things, the current active booster is a double rewards and Crucibleh right now, and I will be covering the hotfixes later, and per the usual, or at least the new usual, I will put chapters in an indent in the later parts of the video in case you want to skip past other things for hotfixes. But some of the notable things: the Still Hunt nerf, which was improved upon what was reported, so the Still Hunt nerf was a little bit larger than before. Things like point content can embrace being fixed, I guess, as well as issues with an artifact perk that of course affected Still Hunt, so it technically was nerfed twice if you look at it in certain ways. Aside from that, getting into the reset as always, like I said, update, so there was some fixes and stuff going about aside from just general balancing. There is the new battleground out, allegedly, according to the weekly reset bits, so keep that in mind. It's likely tied to the story. I heard that the part 3 of the battleground was not coming until Act 3, but I guess I maybe have misinterpreted everything Bungie was saying about this season's story. And there is a Bungie Foundation live stream to attend if anyone wants to participate on the 25th. That should be this Thursday, so keep that in mind. It is, as always, there is rewards to donations if you do donate so much. Aside from that, allegedly, according to this, in addition to bonus, or for the activity bonus, it ranks across all three things, according to this. If it's not, that's an allegedly, because that's just what it says. However, going into the Nightfall, the current active Nightfall is a first, because it is the first time Liminality, the new strike from the final shape, has been in the Nightfall rotation, which also means it's the first time that the Grand Master has been on rotation, which it's interesting to think about, just because this was the strike that the supposed designer said they made it to be hard so that people would cry at it and say it's too hard. But running the strike itself, I didn't really feel many places would be difficult, except maybe the final boss, which always goes for GMs. Aside from that, the weapon to earn in the Liminality strike is actually the Slimmer Sword, which is the big Falling Guillotine rework skin that has Eager Edge, a stasis sword, stasis perks on it, so it's still a unique one, aside from just being the first of the not Halo swords that could actually have Eager Edge on them. From there is no Crucible Labs according to this currently, but again, I say allegedly. There is the active 6v6 Sparrow Control and Supremacy, and there is the usual countdown of 3v3 competitive and Rumble going on. But moving into the weekly rotations as well. For the exotic mission of this week, it is the Avalon mission, which if you don't remember, that is Brachyon Genesis Mind Revived, the Vexcalibur mission, and I would imagine that its associate drops of legendary weapons would be anything from that season. So I imagine there would be some Season of Defiance weapons dropping there, in addition to, you know, Vexcalibur and its associate perks. In addition to that, though, the raid is actually Crota's End for our weekly farming raid, which means the Master Mode is available, all challenges are active, Adept Loot is once again available, and if you have not gotten everything you needed for Necrochasm or just haven't gotten the Red Water drops, now is the time to actually spend some time down in the dark below, just because, again, it is infinite farm, get everything you need from Crota's End while it is still around. In that point, the Duality Dungeon is currently available for farming, which means infinite strikes to get Heart Shadow if you don't have that, or any of the weapons that dropped from this dungeon that was Season of the Haunted, or the just unique weapon drops from there. It is all the weapons that have the Bitter Spites origin perk. I forget the arrangement, but it's like the Lingering Dread Stasis Grenade Launcher, the Storm Chaser Arc 3 Burst Linear Fusion Rifle, then the Void Aggressive Frame SMG, and one other that I'm forgetting. Oh, right, Stasis Pulse Rifle. But moving on from that bit, the current raid challenge in Salvation's Edge. This is actually the special week, according to this, where all challenges are active, so that in the past, if you missed a Triumph after completing something on Master Mode, basically this is the make-up week. So you don't have to do 5 different weeks of challenges. You can do them all in 1 week, just because Bungie allowed it so that obviously if you missed out on a challenge, you don't have to spend 5 weeks of doing challenges doing it. So all Salvation's Edge challenges are active, which also means Master Mode, Adept Weapons, and the whole ordeal. From there, again, Crota's End is featured, so the same thing, challenges active, infinite farming. But then just quick firing it, Root of Nightmares is Crossfire, which is second encounter. Crota's End, I didn't need to say that. King's Fall is Devious Thievery. Vow of the Disciple is Defense is Down, which is second encounter challenge. Or third. Actually, yeah, no, it's third encounter, my bad. Vault of Glass is Out of Its Way, which is Templar challenge. The Deepstone Crypt is Red Rover, first encounter challenge. Garden of Salvation is to the top, which I think is second or third encounter challenge, hard to remember. And Last Witch is the Witch, which I'm pretty sure I said Last Witch anyways. From that point to the raid armor focusing for Salvation's Edge Master is Strength mode, and for Crota's End, it is Resilience armor from Crota's End Master mode. To round that out, there is, of course, Dares of Eternity, which is Vex, Cabal, and Crota. Now, checking in with our next set of weekly challenges. The first is complete Part 2 of Act 2 of A Rising Chorus, which of course is just the weekly seasonal story. Research and Development 5, which is completing the associate research quest available with this week. Then there's Aggressive Exploration 3, which is complete the episode Echoes Battlegrounds Playlist Weekly Challenge, which if you don't know, they did introduce a new challenge in that seasonal archive, which is basically the run this thing 3 times, run something at a higher difficulty if you don't know what it means. Then there is Miner's Swing for activate assimilation pistons with the piston hammer. If you haven't found this, essentially there is going to be a Vex Spire that you can interact with, slam it with a massive hammer, and from there it will actually spawn a bunch of radiolite varieties that you can, harvest from the ground, if you have not seen what that means. Then there is Electric Shred for defeating Vex with arc damage in Gambit or Vanguard Ops activities. As well, for the Crucible challenge, there is defeating Guardians with arc damage in the Crucible, so two separate challenges for arc damage. And lastly, there is a basic one of Rapid Precision for getting Rapid Precision final blows, bonus progress for defeating Guardians, and for every defeated target after the second one, which is a healthy drop of XP. Moving on from the challenges though, we go into the Eververse tab, which of course still has the seasonal flashback as well as the additions that was made last week once Act 2 began. In case you were unaware, there was actually a slight expansion, including those 2 sets that you just saw right there on the front page. However, what is available in the Brightest store? The first is Neon Splash, which according to that is a live texture one, but looking at it, aside from the live textures on the armor that is the fish armor, I don't see anything else to suggest this is actually a live texture. So it does look not so bad, but it doesn't seem live. And there's also Vibrant Medusa, which very much in the similar vein. Nice and bright, not live. It looks pretty good, although I think it looks a little bit a little bit better on weapons than armor, just because armor can be a usual mismatch blash. Then there is the Heartbreaking Entrance, which I recall last week being around. It is basically a TheMad special from Crimson Days, which of course is dead and no longer happening. We also have the Desecrated Shell, which is the Witherhoard Ghost Shell from Season of the Witch, specifically. There was a whole set of Witherhoard stuff for a Sparrow Shell and ship. So if you wanted the Ghost Shell, it does look pretty cool and does have little Witherhoard shots there, although it's oddly flat and not a, ball like the Witherhoard shot. And there is the Glow Stick Dance, which is just, you doing a bunch of that. And once again, I don't know the reference. I just know I have a few friends that love running this, and they do it seemingly anytime they have any time to spare. Aside from that, into the main store for some shaders, we have Flavito Core, which is a weird one in its look. It does look regal in a way, but it doesn't seem to be an exactly attractive palette of colors. That looks a lot better than what is suggested. Like, honestly, I don't even see the green that is displayed on my armor. That could just be the armor itself, though, thinking about it. I also have Kite and Slate, which doesn't look that really... Well, it's not actually bad looking at it. The white took me by surprise. It kind of works. Although, the brown, if it was just straight black, that might work a little bit better. But, I digress. Welded Brass, which I love for my Void looks, whether it be Hunter, mainly Titan, though, just because the glow that it produces with a certain set of armor and a certain needler-based gauntlet does look pretty neat. And we lastly have Breezy Clear, which is just one of those bright summer color shaders. And there is almost no better way to describe it, aside from the fact that it has a floral pattern on it. Into Transmats, we have the Ossified Entrance, which is the essentially rocky scorpion tail entrance you might have seen places. The Vex Incursion Entrance, which is basically just Vex effects turned orange instead. And the Renewal Entrance, which is just, I think the Traveler respawn thing, but, made pink instead. And then we have, for the big ticket items, Drone Flight, which is you playing around with a supposed ghost drone, which it flies around, and it just kind of hangs out and, exists for quite a while until it replays itself, and then it just kind of fades away and ends. Dramatic Countdown, which is, a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 countdown, which it ends on, that. whatever that is meant to be. For a ship, we have the Archangel's Might from Season of the Lost, which is supposed to be, actually thinking about it, it was a throwback Rasputin set, which was active when Rasputin wasn't revived just yet, so it's funny thinking about that. And we also have Azimuth Runner, which is from this current season. This is a part of a Black Armor Reforged set, so if you have any old Black Armor, the Always on Time, or the Platinum Starling, any of those old Sparrows, this is supposed to be a new gen version of those same Sparrows. Just doesn't come with the same perks, at least in terms of the Scourge of the Past Sparrow. Then we actually have some ornaments. We have, for at least the Hunters, Pressurized Stabilizer for the Hunter, of course, at Gerfalcon's, if I recall what this is supposed to be. Yes, this is Gerfalcon's Habric, which I will cut in the other two characters between now and the next weapon, so if you want to know. Checking on the Warlock, we have the Ionic Fringe, which is for Fallen Sunstar, if I'm remembering that. Yes, which it is a weird look because it does give you an eyeball. It kind of, what's the word? It cleans up the random spikes and does look a little bit cleaner. It has, of course, its zappiness, although the eye and the small mouth, I think, weirds me out a little bit. I'd have to mess around with shaders before I say it's really worth picking up, but that is for Warlocks. And for the Titans, we have the Chivalry Chill ornament for Cadmus Ridge Lance Cap, which gives it a medieval style helmet and a weird icy beard instead of just a casual Arctic cap and an icy face. Then again, you have to really like Cadmus Ridge, I suppose, if you're willing to run the ornament, let alone that. Which Diamond Lances, I feel like, are in a better place than ever, and obviously, because it's the only aspect on Prismatic, you're probably using them more, if at all, but, you know, I still don't know if this is exactly worth it running, but it's still nifty look nonetheless. And picking up from that cut, we have the Objective Reality for the freshly buffed Truth, which it is a very good looking ornament. Looking at it, it looks Foundry-like, but also looks clean. It doesn't look aggressively Foundry like most of the Daito weapons, but at the same time, I have not seen anyone using this, and of course, since I haven't been in Gambit or Crucible, I haven't seen it used there either, so still don't know if the buff really put it back on the map. I have no clue. Then lastly, as always and least, the Buried Treasure Projection, which is just another ghost projection. From there, I am going to, of course, check on the other two characters, but then see what we have to worry about for the hotfix. If you skip past that, my name is TheMadScorpyon, and thank you very much for watching. Okay, just had to make sure the cursor was there just so you had something to keep track of. The starting bits, of course, a Golden Gun mode on Still Hunt while using Celestial Nighthawk has been nerfed by 33%, which is now a little bit more because it was going to be 25%, so we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not it is exactly worth it, or it is just an idea of total damage versus quick damage. From there, the point contact cannon brace has been fixed so that it couldn't spawn lightning strikes on unintended melees. It is back to as it should be, just hopefully only triggering them on thunderclaps. As well, there was an issue with the artifact where the sniper's meditation perk, basically precision instrument, but for snipers, was buffing on golden gun shots and making them more powerful than intended. For the seasonal activities, a fixed issue where the Breach Executable weekly challenge would not complete against aggressive exploitation 1 seasonal challenges. Quests fixed an issue where the Ghost Tracker message on Micah 10 would not properly be removed after all quests have been provided. Guardian ranks and Journey screen fixed an issue where Transcendence and Iconoclast titles weren't counting towards Guardian rank requirements. And lastly, fixed an issue where the Strange Feinder buff was from Xur was not providing bonus Strange coins when completing ritual activities. I believe there is a bundle for those that didn't get extra Strange coins to get some as recompense for the missing currencies. But with that, that is the end of this reset update. My name is TheMadScorpyon, and just as the usual YouTube spiel, any likes, comments, subscribes, anything is much appreciated as my channel needs to continue growing to, of course, improve. If we reach that 1,000 subscriber mark, it is a big note in the channel, and from that point, I can hopefully potentially go from there. The Discord is still in the works. I officially haven't gotten started on it just yet, but I will be hopefully sometime soon. If at all, it's going to be at least by end of August if it takes that long. That's at least the minimum guarantee. That, my name is TheMadScorpyon, and once again, I will see you in the next video.